So this is our lunar yin practice. Beautiful full moon coming tonight, if you can see it. Yeah, it's a bit cloudy for me here, so hopefully it'll start to clear and we can get to see that full moon. But this will be a lunar yin practice. We're going to start lying down on our backs, and that's in our butterfly pose. So soles of the feet come together, and you can choose here whether you use the bolster underneath the knees to support the legs. That's okay. You can also use blocks, or you don't have to use props at all. So I will leave that up to you. We are going to be here for about 10 minutes. This is our start, setting our intentions, getting prepared mentally, physically for our lunar practice today. So lie back, make yourself comfortable and warm. And as you start to settle into the mat, just begin to feel all parts of your body that are connecting towards the earth here. So maybe you start at the top of the head, the base, the back of the skull, and you make sure that that feels nice and stable there, and you're not leaning over the head to one side. And you can start to soften through the face. Remember, we were really focusing on relaxing through the facial expression in our yoga practice last week. So reminding yourself not to tense up in the jaw and the teeth. And allowing the throat and the neck to be soft. The chest just breathes in and out. The belly rises. And you can relax into the hips, the hip flexors, the outer hips, the buttocks there. So really allowing the buttocks to soften, as well as the thighs and the knees, the shins and the calves, and the ankles and the feet. Finding a steady flow of breath here, really connecting to your rhythm and connecting that rhythm of breath to your physical presence. So if the mind starts to wander, maybe distractions, try and remain present. Always bring yourself back to your breath or back to the physical sensations. And today, being a full moon of November, this is called the Beaver moon. And the beaver is beginning to prepare itself for winter. It's quite busy, getting itself ready for hibernation at this time of the year. But for you today, choose to take things a little slower. There is no need to rush. There is no need to prepare. And life happens at the pace that we choose. So instead of having this fear of missing out, welcome the joy of missing out and take in the moment and the place that you are in. Sometimes the only company that you need is your own company. And as you seek solitude in your slowness, you may be able to find the answers within. And for this practice, allow your pace to be unrushed and notice how much more that you remember from your day and from your practice when you spend your time more mindfully. So draw an intention in for your practice, whatever may resonate with you today. And continuing our November, this might be a new experience for you throughout the practice today and also for me, but I am going to try not to talk as much through the postures. So I'm going to allow you to find that slowness and find the posture for yourself. So bringing a little bit of movement back into the hands, back into the wrists, maybe just gently rolling the head from side to side, preparing to come into our first few postures. Lift the knees together and then gently draw the knees in towards the chest and roll and massage out. As you would do normally, take time, slow everything down, roll over to one side. And before you rush up, just pause there and then bring yourself up to a tabletop position. So let's find our cat and cow. Reminding yourself of the breath in for cow, out for cat. Slowing everything down. After your last cat, release back to wide leg child's pose. Take the knees wide, toes come together, arms reach out, head comes to the mat or onto a block. Prepare yourself slowly to come out of the child's pose with an inhale and then an exhale. Again, slowing everything down, bringing yourself back up into tabletop. This time we circle the hips forwards and back in a nice little circle as you bring the hips back towards the heels and the chest forward towards the wrists. You can get the body involved as much as you like here: head, neck, shoulders, waist, hips. And circle the other way. And pause in tabletop. Coming back to the back of the mat, tucking the toes and widening the feet out, and using a block for malasana or your squat here. Trying to get the heels down if you can there. So take the feet a little bit wider of the mat. Breathing out, releasing the hands down, lifting the hips, starting to straighten the legs and turn the toes to face the front of the mat. Take your dangling pose here, bending the knees if you need, using the bolster to support the head. Just dangling for 1 minute. And release the hands. Release the knees. And come back to kneeling. Return back to that slow and steady deep breath. And then swing the legs around in front of you for half butterfly. Right leg comes in either towards the thigh or placed at the calf. Then reaching up the arms, giving yourself a big stretch. Try and relax into this forward fold as you reach out over the extended leg. Relaxing the hands down. Let the hands relax down to the mat. You're not holding them up in the air. And let the head relax. Taking a breath in, breath out to prepare slowly to move. Starting to roll up through the spine to seated. We're going to bring the hand behind us and just come up into a release of a kneeling wild thing. Coming up onto the knee, pushing the hip forward, opening out the arm and sweeping it back. Changing legs. Left leg either into the thigh or into the calf. Breathing in, extending the sides of the body, reaching high and up and over. Relaxing over the extended leg. Hands come down to the mat. Try and allow everything to release. Softness with the breath. Slow everything down. Breathing in, deep breath out, prepare slowly to come out, rolling up through the spine. Left hand comes behind you as you sweep the arm and come up onto the knee, kneeling wild thing, opening out, big, big stretch, and return back to seated in Dandasana. Hands just rest by the hips. Take a moment to just sit nice and tall. If you need to, you can, of course, bend the knees up here. Then just a little back bend here to come out of those folds. Bring the hands back a little way from the buttocks and then open up the chest to the sky. Keep the earlobes away from the shoulders so you're lengthening through the spine, lifting up through the chest. As if you were gazing at that beautiful full moon above you. Bring yourself back into center and take the feet into wide leg. Taking little side stretches here. So if you have a block or maybe a bolster, you can place that on the inside of your leg there. And those blocks can be on any levels, but resting the elbow down, and the hand might just stay down, or you can take it up and over, but relax the elbow on top of the head so that you're not having to hold the arm up for those couple of minutes that we're here. So you can always keep that arm down if it's too much. Taking the arm away first, keeping the head where it is. Nice and slowly push away from the mat to bring yourself up to center. Good. If you need to, you can bring the legs in just to release out before you go to the other side. Squeeze the knees together. And then wide leg once more. Changing the block or the bolster to the other inner thigh, using that to support the elbow. Opening up the chest to the side. And then reaching up and over, the elbow just rests on the top of the head if you chose that option on the other side. Gently releasing the top arm first of all, pushing away from the mat to gently and slowly bring yourself into the center. There is no rush coming out of that big, deep side stretch. Sit nice and tall. And then lift the knees together. Bring the knees in and just press. Good. Not easy ones, those side stretches. And let's come into a frog pose. Sweeping the knees back behind you, and you could go sideways on again onto your mat, and you can always use a bolster to lie on here. You don't have to, of course, but that is always an option. Slide the knees out and then a 90-degree bend into the knees and the ankles in your frog pose, and just rest the head either on the hands, on the mat, on a block, or the bolster. Breathing in and breathing out, preparing yourself to come out of the posture, again, taking this really slowly, like in slow motion. So you're going to bring yourself up onto your elbows. You're going to start to rock the hips forward and bring the big toes to touch and start to gently pull the hips back towards the toes, pressing up onto the palms, and slowly squeeze the legs together. Come into kneeling. Just do that. Allow a recovery pose from frog. We haven't done that one for a while. We're going to come down onto our backs. So having your bolster or your blocks by the side of you handy. Take time to get down onto your mat. Draw the knees slowly in towards the chest. And slowly roll and massage out. Everything's in slow-mo. As we return to the mat where we started, just notice again the spine spreading out underneath you from the back of the skull, the shoulders, the upper, the middle back, the waist, the lower back, and the pelvis. And then place the soles of the feet down onto the mat, relax into the toes. Take a moment just to feel your entire body. Let's come into a supported bridge. So this is either with your bolster or with a block. I'm going to go with a block. And you can choose the level. You can have it on the lowest level of the block or the medium level. Highest level is a very, very high supported bridge. I'm going to go medium. But again, if you use your bolster, that is much more comfortable, or a cushion. So make sure that's nicely placed under the flattest part of the pelvis. The buttocks just hang off of the edge. Soles of the feet stay flat for this supported bridge, and the arms can be by the side of the body, or you might choose cactus. So if you're choosing cactus arms, make sure the elbows are bent in line with the shoulders and the backs of the hands are down. Taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, if you had the cactus arms, bring those back by the sides of you, palms face down, spread the shoulders. And for the last minute, your choice is to stay there in supported bridge or gently lift the legs up towards the sky into supported shoulder stand. You can always bend the knees, but try and allow all of the weight from the legs to drop into the pelvis, into the support underneath you. And slowly circle through the ankles, rotation through the joints, flexing, pointing into the feet, the toes. And slowly bring the legs down. Make sure that you've got the feet down. Lift the hips and take your prop away. Slowly roll down through the spine. Take your time to roll down. And as you feel the lower back starting to come back down to the mat, release the legs all the way along into Shavasana. Take a moment to rest and recover. As you take that prop away from underneath you, you can still probably feel it there. Let's come into Banana Asana, so our crescent shape, shuffling the shoulders over to the top right, lifting the arms up, taking hold of the left wrist. Try and relax the elbows behind you and then shuffle the feet over to the bottom right corner, maybe taking the left foot over the right ankle. And if you were to look at yourself from above, you would be in this beautiful crescent shape, like a crescent moon. And you got this side stretch to breathe in and out of. Before moving, take that breath in and out just to prepare yourself. Shuffle the arms back and the upper body first of all. Bring the arms down by the side of the body and then release the left foot. Take a moment just to be in that star pose. Feet are wide, arms are wide. Shuffle the shoulders over to the left corner. Keep the hips where they are, lifting the arms up, maybe taking hold of the right wrist. Try and relax the elbows down towards the mat if you can. Bend at the elbows. And then move over that right foot. Maybe it crosses over the left ankle. And again, you work your way into the most comfortable crescent shape you can to stay and hold. And feeling that side stretch as you breathe softly and slowly. Breathing in, breathing out. Gently bringing the head, the arms, and the upper body back into the center. Arms come down by the side of you. Release the leg. Take the feet nice and wide. Again, return back to this recovery star posture. And slowly draw the knees in towards the chest, starting to roll out a little bit through the spine, finding that slow motion movement. Placing the soles of the feet down, hip width, arms come out to the side of you, and just windscreen wiper the knees out to right and left super slowly, just letting the knees drop right. Gentle spinal twist, breathing in, breathing out. Bring them back into center. If you haven't already switched sides, just take them slowly over, and you're just rolling from the outer edges to the inner edges of your feet. And if you haven't changed sides already, just do that once more. Breathing in as the knees come into center, breathing out as they fall to the opposite side. And breathe into center. This time, use your bolster or your cushion underneath the hips. So slide that nice and carefully underneath, so the buttocks still hang off of the other end of the other side of your bolster. Make sure that you've got this little gap for your middle back, and then the shoulders are nicely spread out. So we're coming into pontoon, which is the extended leg variation of your supported bridge. So you can relax the pelvis across the bolster and let the legs extend. This is a very passive back extension. So if at all throughout the couple of minutes of hold that you feel that you need to come out, just bring the knees back and place the soles of the feet down. You can take the arms out to the side, making sure that the neck has enough space, it's long, the facial expression is relaxed. Breathing in, deep breath out. Slowly bring the feet back and take the legs straight up to the sky once more into that supported shoulder stand. And this is where you have an option. You can keep the legs together up towards the sky, or open the legs out into what would have been a wide leg stretch. So let the legs just fall open to the sides. We worked into the inner thighs, inner groin and hip flexors in the half butterflies and the frog pose. This just adds a little bit of extra weight when the legs are fully extended. And if you have taken that wide leg open variation, you can swivel the hips left and right. So the feet just move forwards and backwards. You're just moving the pelvis. And then nice and gently close the wide leg. Bring the feet back down. Press into the feet to lift the hips to slide the bolster away. Roll down slowly all the way through the upper back, the middle back, the lower back and the pelvis. And extend the legs, extend the arms. Take a moment to recover. And now take your time to prepare yourself for final relaxation in Shavasana. So making sure that you are warm, putting socks, jumpers, blankets, eye pillows, maybe turning the lights out above you if you've got bright lights on. You can always place a block underneath the back of the skull. You might like to place a bolster underneath the knees and use those props that you have available. And as you come into your final relaxation, throughout the practice, I have tried not to give too much direction or guidance, and I will do the same in Shavasana. And I want you to find this relaxation for yourself here. I'll certainly let you know when it's time to come back around, but for now, enjoy these minutes of calm, peace, stillness, and the slowness of just being in Shavasana. Beginning to take a few deeper breaths as you bring your awareness back into your space, onto the mat and back into the body by bringing soft, slow, gentle movement to the hands and the wrists, to the toes and to the ankles. Moving the head as you need to, choosing to stretch, drawing the knees in. Again, doing this all in slow motion, taking time to come out of a relaxation. There is never any rush. And when you are ready to return up to a comfortable seat, just bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra at heart center. And just taking in the slowness of your breath, the slowness of your mind. And choosing to sometimes slow things down. There is no need to rush. And instead of the fear of missing out, welcoming the joy of missing out on things within your life, and always taking in the moment where you are there and then, and returning back to your own intention for practice, whatever that was. And allowing this slowness to just carry on into your evening. Try not to pick up the pace. Take some breaths before you go back into the rest of the evening. And always thank yourself for slowing down. And I thank you. Namaste.